Vault 3 was a control vault, so no callous or cruel experiment for the residents to endure. Instead, the survivors who escaped the Great War got to live their new lives below ground as if nothing had changed. And for many years their children went to school, they celebrated birthdays, and they grew up to replace the adults as the new workforce, which continued the cycle. But one day, a maintenance worker discovered a small leak, a minor inconvenience that changed everything. That leak, as insignificant as it was something they couldn't fix because they didn't have the required parts. So as a result, Vincent Vanmiller, the chief of maintenance, told the overseer, Lincoln Davies, that while he was able to vent the pipes in that section to isolate the leak and stop the pressure from stressing the rest of the system, all he had done was buy them more time, as without the parts, the vault would eventually run out of water. Overseer Davies, now working on borrowed time, ordered for the water to be rationed until the leak could be repaired, which he assured the other dwellers would happen, but in order for that to happen, they needed to open the vault door and go outside. And many dwellers were afraid of this revelation, of opening their vault door and venturing outside. But no one was more skeptical than Michael Robinson. Michael was an isolationist and strongly believed that going outside was nothing but a bad idea. They didn't know who or what was out there. There could be horrific mutants, strange wandering vagabonds, aliens, or murderous gangs, which wasn't far from the truth. But Overseer Davies didn't have any other option than to go outside. And so he announced that Michelle Dallion, his trusted friend, was going to be forming a committee of external relations with the outside world. Now it's worth mentioning that at this time, Vault 3 seemed to be going through the process of selecting a new overseer, not because Davies wasn't good enough or because he was going to be sacrificed. This was a control vault, after all, but because he had served his time and was simply stepping down. So while Michelle was off creating a team in preparation to venture outside, other vault dwellers were trying to become the new overseer. And the most notable members were George Stolt and Michael Robinson. As we know, Michael didn't want to open the vault door and was trying to become the overseer so he could stop the entire thing, and there was quite a few people who supported him, at least in the beginning. George, on the other hand, was good friends with the current but soon-to-be previous overseer, and he shared the same belief that going outside was not only a good idea, but also the next step. Because George didn't just want to venture outside to get the parts and then close the door, he wanted to leave the vault door open and start building relationships with existing settlements. And the concept of meeting other people and being able to trade for new things the vault didn't have won him the election. By now, many dwellers had joined the committee, and there were so many of them that Michelle didn't know what to do with them all. But determined to make a good impression on the outsiders, she created several teams, each focused on their own thing. One team they didn't have was a group dedicated to security, which is something you definitely should have. We know that they had weapons inside the vault, but the reason they didn't use them was because they didn't want to appear belligerent or aggressive to outsiders. They wanted survivors to see they were just like them, friendly and unthreatening, and by presenting themselves as an open hand rather than a closed fist, relationships were bound to form. And they did, just not for very long. With preparations complete, Overseer Stolt sent an email to all residents letting them know that the opening protocols for the vault door had started, and within 24 hours, the vault door will have officially opened. This announcement worried Michael. He truly believed that as soon as the vault door opened, something terrible was going to happen to them, and he begged Michelle to reconsider taking some weapons with her, to arm herself and her task force just in case they encountered something dangerous. But Michelle was adamant that they needed to appear peaceful. So the very next day, when the vault door opened, she stepped outside with nothing more than a smile and disappeared into the wastes, taking her team with her. Michael, still inside the vault, waited patiently for her to return, But after a few days, there was still no sign of Michelle or her team, yet in their stead was a message. And in that message, Michelle said that everything was fine, and the rest of the teams can now leave the vault and start building some trust with the local population. And this almost had Michael convinced, just not entirely. So he joined the trading team and went outside to see what it was like. And after a few days of being out there, he reported back to the vault, admitting that he was wrong. The wasteland wasn't as dangerous as he first thought, although it wasn't entirely safe either. You see, while they did have some luck trading with outsiders, they had found the parts to repair the leak, and even had the potential to be operating at full capacity soon enough, Michael had also noticed some people in strange hats watching his team, and every time these people were spotted, they disappeared, but they always came back, and each time they were closer and closer, and unlike Michael and the rest of his team, they had weapons. That fact alone was enough for Michael to return to the vault, and he was scared of these people, so much so that he asked Overseer Stolt to lock the vault door, not forever, just for a few days. If he couldn't do that, then at the very least, place some guards outside to show the strangers that they weren't going to be an easy target. But that went against everything they wanted. Closing the door prevented trade, and having weapons was too aggressive, so nothing changed. Yet for a time, it seemed like things were going to be okay. However, one day, the trading party didn't return, and they didn't receive any messages from them either. Nara Robinson, presumably Michael's wife, emailed Michelle, asking her if something could have happened to them. But Michelle wasn't worried and told Nara they'd be back soon enough. And if, in an hour's time, they still hadn't heard anything from them, then she'd send a search party to find them. But in that hour, someone else arrived. The weird people in strange helmets known to locals as the Fiends, a raider gang made up entirely of chem addicts, rapists, and murderers. And they had been watching the dwellers for quite some time. They had seen other people, outsiders with weapons, walk right up to the vault and go inside. And that is exactly what they did. Vault 3, this place of refuge, was transformed into a killing field, and the Fiends didn't stop until every last dweller was dead. To think what could have been another friendly settlement full of people wanting to help, replaced with Fiends who harass passers-by and trade humans as though they were livestock. If only the dwellers had taken a few simple precautions, arming themselves while outside with weapons they had but never used, closing the vault door to outsiders until they knew they could be trusted instead of taking them at face value, and placing a few guards outside may have been enough to repel those with ill intent. But their lives inside the vault, living below ground without any real danger, made them soft and unaccustomed to the new world's cruel ways, and thanks to their innocence, they paid the ultimate price. Be sure to show your support by liking the video and subscribing if you haven't already for more Fallout content. If there's anything you'd like to see in a later video, leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. With that said, thank you, as always, for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.